Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a good day so far. Um, so today and tomorrow, and then we're finished up with the whole first round of this. And then, like I said before, then things are going to change. It's going to be a different format since we'll have heard all these songs already. So tomorrow will be the last day of this format. Um, and so then Thursday and Friday, I'm going to give you something that will be due at the end of the day on Friday. Something simple, don't have to worry about it, but I just want to explain a little bit about what that's going to be. So I'm going to send out the bracket with the first round completed of the 64 greatest songs of all time, not the newer songs one. And I want you to look at those 64 songs and I want you to pick one. And I want it to be a song that you were not overly familiar with before this process, but that you now enjoy. And you're going to do two things with that song. We already looked at the originals. I want you to find a cover of that song that you really like also. And then you're just going to write a little bit, not a big essay or anything, but just a little bit about why you like the original and why you like the cover. And just some similarities between the two and some big differences between the two. So if I took The Sound of Silence, for example, not on this list, so I'm going to use it, by Simon and Garfunkel, I love the original, and I also love the Disturbed version, and they're very different, and I would do a little bit of explanation about how they're different and why I like each one. So that is going to be what you can be thinking about for Thursday and Friday. But, anyways, the voting from yesterday, I Want You Back versus Be My Baby, 86% chose I Want You Back. The Jackson 5. It's a good song. Then Good Vibrations beat out Tracks of My Tears by 82%. Party in the USA versus Somebody That I Used to Know. 4 votes between these two again. 51% went to Somebody That I Used to Know. Sorry, Miley. Kind of want one of them to be a tie, because I wanted to figure out what I would do if there was a tie. It could happen. We'll see. And then We Found Love by Rihanna versus Fix You by Coldplay. It pains me to say that Coldplay has lost, because I love Fix You. But it's okay. 57% of you chose We Found Love. And actually, about 3/4 of the underclassmen chose We Found Love. And a majority of the concert choir chose Fix You. Big difference between underclassmen and upperclassmen, but We Found Love wins that one. So today, actually tomorrow, you're gonna hear the last day has some big heavyweight songs by big artists. Today is the opposite. These are a little bit more obscure. They're all bands. Here's the 4 bands or groups you'll be listening to: The Animals, The Kingsmen, The Five Satins, and The Who. So the first matchup is The Animals singing House of the Rising Sun versus The Who doing Baba O'Riley. Now, the House of the Rising Sun is interesting because nobody really knows who wrote it, because it was a very old song, an old African American folk song all the way back to the 20s and before then. It just kind of got passed on. And then the Animals did a version of it, but a lot of people have done a version of the song because since nobody knows who wrote it, there's no copyright on it, so you don't have to pay the copyright money to use someone else's song. You can just record it. It's in the public domain, and so so the House of the Rising Sun, historians have narrowed it down to basically 2 options of what that actually means. Number 1 is that the song is about a brothel in New Orleans that was named after a French woman whose name translates to Rising Sun. The second option is that it's a woman's prison in New Orleans, and the entrance gate is full of Rising Sun artwork. And this theory would explain the ball and chain lyrics that you hear in the song. So the version that you're going to watch today, it's a little on the awkward side. I think it's like a music video, not really a live performance. And I wish it was live because he really belts it out sometimes, and you just don't see that in his face in this. I just want to see him because when he gets to the second verse and hops up the octave, it's so cool. But great song, very, very famous, very catchy. That's going against Baba O'Riley by The Who. And you might not know this song by title, but I think a lot of you will recognize it. A lot of people think the name of the song is Teenage Wasteland, but it's not. Baba O'Riley, very strange background stories to the name of this song. It's interesting. So it says this: the first part of the title comes from Meher Baba, who was one of the band's spiritual gurus. And the second part of the name comes from Terry Riley, who was an experimental minimalist composer, and they used a lot of his keyboard riffs and sound effects in their music. Okay, so those are the two people. And so according to The Who, they wrote it as their vision of what would happen if the spirit of Meher Baba was fed into a computer and transformed into music. The result would be Meher Baba in the style of Terry Riley, Baba O'Riley. That's what it means. So, but just such a classic opening to this song. I love it. That little keyboard riff goes on for a long time, and then the boom, 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 and you're gonna see the most exuberant, passionate tambourine playing you have ever seen in your life. He's punching it. There's visions of Will Ferrell hitting the cowbell for me in this one, just going so crazy on it. But just an awesome rock and roll opening. Then the other two songs, In the Still of the Night by the Five Satins versus Louie Louie by the Kingsmen. So In the Still of the Night, the reason that this is on Rolling Stone's list is it's because it's like one of the, if not the definitive songs in a genre of music. That genre being doo-wop music. Oftentimes in doo-wop music, it's 4 or 5 people. There's about 3 people over in the corner lightly stepping and snapping. You've seen a couple of these songs already. And then there's the lead singer doing his thing. And this is like one of the most legendary doo-wop songs of all time. When music people think doo-wop, they oftentimes think In the Still of the Night. It's just kind of iconic, super catchy. So many people have covered it over the years, and they continue to cover it. Concert Choir, we started looking at it a little bit, and so that's that one. And then what was the other one? Oh, how could I forget? Louie Louie. This song, this is so interesting to me. The Kingsmen, Louie Louie. They recorded this song for $52, very low budget, and the words to Louie Louie are almost impossible to understand. I want you to listen to it, and I want you to figure out how many of these words you can actually understand. To me, it's like, when I did this, it's comical. It's like an SNL skit to me, where you just can't, I just picture an audience like, what is he saying? But the crowd here is all dancing and loving it. And some people thought that the lyrics were obscene, and this significantly added to the sales of the song. And this was like the most ingenious marketing scheme ever. The FBI actually got involved to try to figure out what they were singing. And this ended up all being a sham, because it wasn't even their song. It was written by a man named Richard Berry, who said, no, here's the lyrics. And it's about a sailor who spends 3 days traveling to Jamaica to see his girl. But it's just so bizarre, because back then they didn't have the internet. They couldn't just type in Louie Louie lyrics, hit enter, and read them. It was a much different process, obviously. So enjoy trying to pick out the words to Louie Louie. And then the newer songs, Alicia Keys' No One versus Adele's Hello. And then there was a movie that came out called Once. There's a song in there that was hugely popular called Falling Slowly. It's a beautiful song. I encourage you to listen to it if you haven't already. Versus Wake Me Up by Avicii. So wake me up when it's all over. Somebody mentioned, I just saw something online not too long ago that said that could be the theme song of what we're experiencing right now. So yeah, so tomorrow we finish this thing up. So be thinking about one of those 64 songs that kind of stuck out to you as one that you enjoyed that you didn't realize you would enjoy. And I'll give you more clear guidelines for that little assignment that we'll do. And then next week I'll talk to you how we're tell you how we're gonna figure out this second round of voting, because I'm not gonna force you to listen to all the songs again since you've listened to them already. But anyways, thanks for watching this. Thanks for participating and taking this seriously. I appreciate it very, very much. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. I love you, kids. Bye-bye.